Hello language warriors and welcome to English 123 Translation Studies, wherein today we're going to talk about Catford and translation shifts. This video lecture is presented by the second year students of Bachelor of Arts in English Language Studies. Let us begin the discussion by defining what is translation shift. But before that, let us know first the person behind the translation shift. John, also known as Ian Catford, is a Scottish linguist and phonetician. He published his book called A Linguistic Theory of Translation in year 1965, which states that his theory was mainly about applying the linguistic approach to the translation process. And now, what exactly are translation shifts? Translation shifts are small linguistic changes occurring in a translation of ST or source text to the TL or target language. Source text refers to an original written content text, while target language refers to a different verbal language. An example of source text to target language is a text written in the Chinese language to be translated to English language, wherein text written in the Chinese language is the source text and the English as the target language. Translation shift also refers to the departure from formal correspondence in the process of going to the ST or source text to the TL or target language.
As far as translation is concerned, Catford makes an important distinction between formal correspondence and textual equivalence. A formal correspondent is any TL category which can be said to occupy as nearly as possible the same place in the economy of the TL as a given SL category occupies in the SL. For example, a noun such as fenêtre in French might be said generally to occupy similar place in the French language system as the noun window does in English. On the other hand, a textual equivalent is any TL text or portion of text which is observed on a particular occasion to be the equivalent of a given SL text or portion of text. For example, textual equivalent of the French words ou dia in the warnings in train carriages is out of the window, but the formal correspondence of it would be outside. Thus, formal correspondence is a more general system-based concept between a pair of languages, while textual equivalence is tied to a particular ST-TT pair. When the two concepts diverge, a translation shift is deemed to have occurred.
Catford divided his translation shift into two parts, the category shift and the level shift. So for now, let's talk about what is level shift. So, what is the level shift? Level shift is that a source text item at one linguistic level has a target text translation equivalent to at a different level. Level shift happens when the target text has different level to that of source text. According to Catford 1965, a level shift would be something which is expressed by grammar in one language and lexis in another or vice versa. Examples of this are aspect in Russian being translated by a lexical verb in English, igrat, which means to play, and sigrat, which means to finish playing. So the source text is John has stopped smoking. As we can see, there is an underlined word has stopped. And the translated text is John sudah berhenti merokok. The translation shift experienced by the target text is the level shift from grammar to lexis. The source text is present perfect of the underlined word has stopped, which is in the level of grammar. In the source text, also, it is translated into lexis sudah, which we can find in the target text or in the translated text. The level shift of the source text is clearly the grammar, and the level shift of the target text is lexis. So what does lexis mean? I keep on talking about lexis, and yet what is lexis? So lexis simply refers to a word that has a certain meaning. Opposite to grammar, which is a system of language which composes of different branches such as morphology, phonology, and I know you know that, of course. So in this case, we can see that there is a shift between source text and target text in terms of level shift.
Shift has been an inevitable phenomenon in translation process, since the translation from one language into another can produce a change, whether in the structure of the language or on the meaning of the language. According to Bloom-Kolka in 1986, states by Akbari in a study in 2012, the term shift is used in the literature to refer to changes that occur in the process of translating. In line with this, Catford in 1965 gives the idea on shift, namely, the change of formal structure of the source language into the target language. According to him, it is the most common form of shift that appears in the translation process since it deals with a shift in the grammatical level. Structure shift happens due to the difference of language system between the source language and the target language. Structure shift happens due to the difference of language system between the source language and the target language. Now let's have an example. From the example, it can be seen that the target text experiences structure shift. The green lamp in the source text is a phrase. The structure, in terms of its word order, is adjective, which is the green, followed by a noun, which is the lamp. In the target text, it is clearly seen that there is a shift. The target text is translated into noun, which is the lampu, followed by an adjective, which is the hijaw. Obviously, there is a structure shift from adjective plus noun, which is the source text, into noun plus adjective, which is the target text. Now let's have another example. Here it is clear that there is a shift from modifier head to head plus modifier between the two versions.
Class shifts occur when the translation equivalence of a source language item is a member of a different class from the original item. Now, what does the word equivalence means? It is the similarity between a word or expression in one language and its translation into another. In a more specific definition, class shift is when source text or a source language item is translated with target text or the target language item, which belongs to a different class. An adjective may be translated as an adverb, and a noun may be translated into a verb. Using the French language, let's take this for example. Source text is English language, a medical student. The medical here is the pre-modifying adjective, and the target text is un étudiant in medicine. The medicine is the adverbial qualifying phrase. Now, let's use a longer sentence, remaining English as the source text. The source language is for the pursuit of happiness. The noun here is the words the pursuit. And using the Filipino language, it is translated as ang paghahangad ng kaligayahan. Now, the word paghahangad is the verb under a mental state verb. Based on the given sentences, for examples, class shift occurs because the target language or the target text item is a member of a different class from the original item or from the source language or from the source text.
Unit shift is the changes of rank, that is, departures from formal correspondence in which the translation is equivalent of a unit at one rank in the source language. Source language is a unit at a different rank in the target language. So, rank refers to the hierarchical linguistic unit of a sentence, clause, group, word, and morpheme. Unit shift for a strict rank-for-rank correspondence between SL and TL sentences, clauses, groups, words, and morphemes is not observed. Unit shifts occur when translation is equivalent of a source text unit at one rank is a unit at a different rank in the target language. It includes shifts from morpheme to a word to phrase, clause to sentence, and vice versa. For example is the English SL impossible and the Indonesian TL is tidak mungkin. So from example of translation above, unit shift can be found at source text or ST is impossible, which is a word that is translated into target text or TT tidak mungkin, which is a phrase. It means that shift is from word to phrase. Unit shifts can also be from low level to higher level or from high level to lower level. It is caused by the differences of the amount of meaning component in different concepts. So first is low level to higher level. Example is the ST housekeeper and the TT pengurus rumah tangga. From the example, it is translated from low level to higher level. It means that in the source language, there is one word, but after translated into target language, it became to more than one word. It can be seen in the word housekeeper, which consists of one word and was translated into pengurus rumah tangga, which consists of three words. Next is the high level to lower level. For the example is the ST ultimate betrayal and the TT pengkhianatan. From the example, it is translated in terms of high level to lower level, which is the opponent of low level to higher level. In this case, the source language consists of more than one word and then translated to becoming just one word. On the other hand, it can be said that the amount of word of source language is much more than in the target language. The word ultimate betrayal that consists of two words was translated into pengkhianatan that consists of just one word.
Intra-system shift. We use the term system shift for those cases where the shift occurs internally within a system, that is, for those cases where SL or the source language or the TL or the target language possess systems which approximately correspond formally as to their constitution. But when the translation involves selection of a non-corresponding term in the TL system, this shift may work for French and English, but it is difficult for Turkish and English.